Assalamu alaikum. Hi, how are you, Ashir? I hope that you are all fine. Today, inshallah, we will complete our structure or grammar part in our book in page 108, and it is the reported speech. And we took some construction that we can use to report any sentence in English from direct to reported one. And we took three of these construction, and we took some reporting verbs with them, and we said if I see some of the reporting verbs or which you have to memorize actually, I will know that I have to use this way to report my sentence or question. And we also said some of these verbs can come or can be answered in many ways, and you can choose the easiest way that you want. Now let's make a quick revision to what we took. We said that when we have the first construction is a reporting verb plus that plus a clause, and the verbs are insist, explain, promise, and agree. And the second construction we took is verb or reporting verb plus gerund, and the reporting verbs that we use are remember, deny, suggest, and mention. And we also took together the third construction, which is verb or reporting verb plus infinitive, and the verbs are refused, promise, and agree. Now, before going to the last two construction, let me start with you with something which we call it in English direct object and indirect object to get the idea of our new constructions. Actually, in English we have something which we call it object. I think you all know it. And in English we start our sentence with subject, verb, and object. And object in general has two types. We have direct object and we have indirect object. How can I know that my object is direct, and how can I know that my object is indirect? We will know this by taking some examples, and then we will go to our constructions as I said. Let's start. A direct object answers the question what or whom. Examples. Yani, when I ask of what and whom and I have the answer, this answer is the direct object. We call it the direct object. Let's start. David repaired his car. Okay? This is the subject, this is the verb, and this is the object, but we don't know what is the type of it. Is it direct or indirect? Now, his car is the direct object of the verb repaired. But why? Because when we ask what did David repair, the answer will be his car. We started with what? Did you notice? Isn't I will know that this object or the kind of this object is direct one when I ask of what or whom. What means ماذا, whom, من. Okay? And in this sentence, David repaired his car. When I ask you what did David repair, you will say his car. So this car is object. Okay? So what is the kind of this object? It is direct one. How do you know? Because I asked what when I want to know the type of the object. Type. Now, he invited Mary to the party. Okay, this is the sentence. He invited Mary to the party. Look at it. He is the subject, invited is the verb, and Mary is the object. And we don't know what is the kind of this object here. Is it direct or indirect? Now look at the answer. Mary is the direct object of the verb invited. Why? Because when I ask you whom did he invite, من دعا يعني, you will answer Mary. Did you notice this? Isn't I will know that this object is direct or indirect by asking of what or whom, and the answer will be, or we will say that it is direct object. Okay, so Mary here in this sentence is direct object, and the car here is direct object. Okay, now let's go to the other type, which is indirect object. An indirect object answers the question to whom, or for whom, or for what. These we have some differences. I don't have here to or for, and I don't have here to or for when I want to know the direct object. But for the indirect object, when I want to know it, I have to start my question with to whom, for whom, and for what. And let's see the example here. They sent him a postcard. They sent him a postcard. Him is, okay, before going to him, they is the subject, sent is the verb, and him is the object. Actually, a postcard also is an object. Okay, we have here two objects, but let's talk about him here. Him is the indirect object of the verb sent, because when I want to know it, or when you want to know the kind of this verb, of this object, you will ask to whom did they send a postcard, and the answer will be to him. طيب, when I say what did they send, what is the answer? What did they send? The answer will be a postcard. So postcard is direct object, and him is indirect object, because the question here, to know the answer, we say to whom did they send a postcard, and the answer is him. So we say that it is indirect object. But I asked you another question. It is not do here, okay? Direct object. And when I asked you what did they send, you said postcard. So the answer postcard, because the answer was postcard, we say that it is a direct object. And another example, he bought his son a bike. He bought his son a bike. Together, he is the subject, bought is the verb, his son is object, and a bike is object actually. We have here two objects. Actually, the verbs are transitive. All of them are transitive, because any transitive verb need an object. And in transitive means in Arabic المتعدي. تمام? Some verbs need one object and others need two objects actually. And as you see in this sentence, he bought his son a bike. We have here two objects. Now let's know what is the type for these two objects, which of them is direct and which of them is indirect. Now, look at his son. What do you think? Is it direct or indirect? Yes, it is indirect, because when I want the answer for his son, I have to ask, for whom did he buy a bike? لمين? For whom did he buy a bike? And the answer will be his son, so it is indirect object. طب, when I ask, what did he buy? What did he buy? The answer will be a bike. So bike here is direct object. And this is the first step we have to start with to go to complete actually our structures or our construction about reported speech, because they ask you to know the direct object and the indirect object. So now let's go to complete our structure about reported speech, and let's start with the fourth construction about reporting sentences from direct to indirect one or reported one. Now the fourth construction is we have some reporting verbs and we have to put after them direct object, okay? Then we will put the infinitive. That's why I gave you the difference between direct and indirect. So the fourth one, we will start with the verb, then we will put direct object, and we will put the infinitive as I said. And the reporting verbs that we use for this construction is advise. And in general, the sentences in direct ones, they have if clause, and they actually especially the second conditional clause, and we have a phrase, or we have a clause that it is very very famous in English to show giving advice, which is if I were you. It is very important to know it. Now, the second reporting verb for this construction here, verb direct object infinitive, is beg. Beg, which means يتوسل. Okay? And in general, the direct sentences have please. When you want to beg for something, you say please, please give me it, and so on. So the direct sentences in general start with I said please, and here the direct sentences are they have or contain if clause, or they are if clause actually in the second conditional clause. Now let's start here. You should stop smoking. طبعا giving advice also we might use should, okay, to show that I have here an advice. You should stop smoking. The doctor advised him. Hello, honestly, Hannah, you will. How can I know that him, not me, not her? Okay, if you have no evidence to know for who, okay, or whom is the person that who is the person, sorry, that we are talking about, you can put another any object pronoun that you see it correct. But at exam in general, I will put for you this actually pronoun, and you have just to complete the sentence by putting infinitive. I mean of infinitive 2 plus verb 1. Okay, but if you have an evidence that we are talking about a male or female or with me, so in that way we can know the object here. And if the sentence talks with me, or the person is talking with me, I will put here me. If the person is talking with a girl, we will put her. If the sentence or the person is talking with a male, we will put him. Okay, and after the direct object we will put, as I said, to stop. And the reporting verbs for this construction, again, they are advise and beg. Now let's go to the last construction. Okay, I'm sorry, we have here another example. Please tell me what really happened. Please tell me what really happened. Chris begged her. Okay, I will put for you this actually. Then what do we have to do? We have to look for the main verb in this sentence, and the main verb here is tell. So Chris begged her to tell what had happened. Okay, now as you noticed here, we changed the tense. It becomes had plus verb 3. So I want to say something. When we have after to and the verb, if we have after to and the verb some pronouns or time expressions or verbs or any verb, you have to change them as we did in that clause. after. Okay, please listen carefully. يعني هنا بعد to tell بنشوف, do we have something that we can change? Yes, I have here verb, so I have to change it from simple past to past perfect. If we have, let's say, tomorrow, we have to change it. If we have any pronoun, we have also to change it. Okay, then again, the fourth construction, it starts with reporting verb, and they are advise and beg, and then we have to follow it with direct object and then the infinitive. So when you see advised or begged, as you see we have double G, we have to put the direct object, then we have to put to and verb 1 for the main verb in the sentence. Okay, let's now go to the last one, and it is verb plus indirect object and plus direct object. Tamam? And we said that indirect object we will know it by asking for whom, to whom, and for what. And the direct object we will know the answer if we ask with what or whom. Right. Now look at this sentence. Do you want a cake? Okay, do you want a cake? Look at this question. Where is the direct? What is the direct object here? It is a cake. The cake is the direct object. Tamam? So we have to put it at the end. طب, with whom the speaker is talking, with whom is a معي, I will put me. If the speaker is talking with a male, we will put him. If the speaker is talking with a female, we will put her. So let's say that the speaker is talking with me. So she offered me a cake. We started with the indirect object. Okay, to whom اللي هي أجابتها to whom, me. To whom do you want, or does he want to give cake? For me. So me is the indirect object, then it is followed by the direct object. Actually, the only verb that we have here for the fifth construction is the verb offer, اللي هم reporting verb. تمام? It is the verb offer. How will you know that I have to use offer in this sentence? The direct sentences will have how about, would you, or do you want. Okay? Now, as you see, do you want a cake? It becomes she offered me a cake. طيب. Then this is the fifth, as I said, construction. We have the reporting verb, then we have to put the indirect object and then the direct object, and the verb for this construction is offer. Now let's report the direct speech by completing the sentences. If I were you, I would study engineering, Ahmed. Look at the sentence very carefully. If I were you, I said when we see if I were you, that we know that we will know that we are having here an advice. So what is the suitable reporting verb that I have to use here? Actually, it is the verb advised. And be careful, we have to use it in simple past tense, because if it is not in simple past tense, you can't change the verbs. Okay, we should have the tense in, or the reporting verbs in the past simple. Otherwise, we can't actually change it, and we will have some, let's say, exceptions. Now, if I were you, when you see it, you will know that I have to put advised. Okay, put it in your mind. Type then. Look here, advised. We said that the construction is verb plus direct object plus infinitive. Type. To whom or whom is the person that the teacher is talking with? Look at this sentence. Whom is, okay, who is the person that the teacher is talking with? Do you know? Yes, we have here Ahmed. If we have at the end comma and the name, we will put it as an object. But if we don't have a name, we will put me, him, her as you want. But here we have the object. We know the person that the teacher is talking with, and he is Ahmed. So the teacher advised Ahmed. Okay, if we don't have Ahmed, we will not put a name. But we have here a name, so I have to start with my sentence here. Right. What did our teacher advise Ahmed? Look at here. If I were you, I would study engineering. This part we don't need it. We just need it actually to know that we have here an advice. This is actually the main clause that I can take my verb from. And so look here, what is the main verb in this sentence or in this clause? It is study. So advised Ahmed to study engineering. And the last example, would you like some juice, Bill? Would you like some juice, Bill? Ali offered. Ali offered whom? Okay, to whom did he offer? Do you know? Do we have something? Yes, we have Bill at the end. So Ali offered Bill. What did he offer? What did Ali offer Bill? شو بالضبط هو يعني عرض عليه؟ Yes, look at the sentence. Okay, some juice. As you see, we started with the indirect object اللي هو البل, and then we put the direct object. And that's it for today. I wish that you understood the structure. Have a nice time. If you have any comment, please contact me. And assalamu alaikum. I'm sorry. I will send for you the answers for questions in student book and workbook. So please write them down in your books. And if you have any question about them, I will answer your questions inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.